Hi, this is Rick Surowicz. Welcome to my studio and my YouTube channel, Rick Surowicz Watercolor. At any time during this video, you can click on the link in the lower right-hand corner to subscribe to my channel. And if you want to learn more about my videos, my online courses, you can click on the links that appear at the end of the screen. And if you enjoy this, be sure to like it and share it. Today, I'm going to be doing a small 8x10 painting. This is an imaginary landscape. And it began with this just very simple little sketch in my sketchbook and a little bit of a value study using Payne's Gray. So I used a waterproof pen and then used Payne's Gray watercolor and just created this, like I said, it's an imaginary landscape. There's no reference material or anything for that. There's no photographs. It wasn't done on location. It was just done from imagination. And that's going to be the basis for my painting today. And this is a very simple sketch, just some pencil lines to indicate where I'm going to place the trees and just the general shapes of the pieces of land that I have planned for this painting. So I'm just going to go ahead and get right into painting. And this is the setup I'm going to use. You have my palette here and the artwork here. I'm going to begin putting in a Skywash. I'm going to start with cerulean blue. And I'm also going to add just a little bit of I'm going to use this is a quinacridone coral, and add a little of that to the sky. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to just kind of start off here to the right with a little bit of red light in the sky, and then I'm going to go over to the other side and bring in some cerulean blue, and I'm just using a round wash brush. Like I said, I'm working on an 8x10 sheet of 140-pound cold press watercolor paper. I happen to be working on Atlanta Aquarel. That's the paper I like to work on. And now I'm going to take a little clear water. I'm going to bring these colors together. And I'm going to bring some water down, just clear water. And actually, at the base of this distant landmass, I want to have a nice clean horizon line. So I'm going to put down a little bit of rice tape, just smooth that out. And I can put in my washes there and not have to worry about losing that edge. So I'm adding some clear water in this area. I want to maintain the light edge on the mountaintops here, but I'm going to take I'm going to use a number 8 round brush. I'm going to add a little. This is royal blue, a little sap green, and I'm going to make a bit of a blue-green tone, and just put in a suggestion of a distant tree line that's kind of a blue-green tone, kind of cutting across the valley here or whatever, and around the waterfront. So it's all wet and wet, soft edge, has a bit of a bluish cast to it to make it feel a little distant there. So my paper is still very wet. It's glossy. It's what I call saturated. I might actually get just a little bit more pigment. Take a little moisture out of my brush. Get a little darker edge in a few spots, just to indicate some tree tops. Okay, and now I'm going to get some quinacridone gold, a little more sap green. I'm going to put a little, this is a pyro red, into my green, make it a little more, move more towards neutral. And I'm going to take this quill brush here I like to use. And now I'm going to I'm going to try and paint in. I need to get a little more pigment in my brush and a little of the moisture out so it doesn't move so much. But I'm going to put in, you know, a warmer trees, so a warmer green to differentiate them from this kind of a blue-green tree line I have back here. I'm going to bring that down to the tape. Take some moisture out. I'll take a little of this quinacridone and coral and just pick up a little bit of that. That's a little too much. Just a little touch of some of that red here and there. Bring this green down here. I have a layer of trees, a couple layers here, and land sticking out, and layers of trees that I'll be building on top with some darker values. So my paper's what I call it considered damp at the moment, and take a little. A mixture here that's just a little thicker with pigment. Try and keep some of that moisture out so it doesn't move a whole lot. But put in just a few darker shapes to suggest some trees. Okay, and I'm gonna do a little bit more. Okay, I think now I want to build some layers on top, and they're going to be harder edge on top of that. So what I want to do is I want to dry that. I'll remove the tape, and I'm going to paint in some tones on these mountains, and then we'll go from there. So this is dry, and now I'll take that tape off, and I have a nice clean line there at the edge, you know, the horizon there of the water. And now I'm going to continue with some of the same mixture that I had. I'll take a little gold, sap green, a little of this pyro red, even a little royal blue. So now my paper's dry, so I'm working wet on dry, and I'm just going to come over here. Stick put a little touch of this red in there. I'm using the quill brush to put this in, but I could be using a flat brush. bring this value across. A few things sticking out here. And so sometimes what I'll do is, just to create a little interest, I'll take a scraper, plastic scraper, and make a few marks. Some texture in there. Now I've got another piece of land sticking out here. And I'm going to put a touch of that red in a few spots here. I'll be a little better with this. Okay, now I get darker, some royal blue and some sap green, some of this pyro red. Quinacridone gold. And now I've got a couple tree shapes that are closer, they're darker. Some of that red in there. Another. Now I'm going to take a bigger wash brush. Take a little quinacridone orange, burnt orange, quinacridone burnt orange. Drop that in there, and I'm gonna add a little of that color over here. Hit these. Okay. And I'm going to, at the moment, I'm going to dry this, and then I'm going to paint these mountains. I'm going to put some color in the water. Let me stretch this out a little bit. Okay, let me dry it. One of the things I'm going to do before I completely dry this is I'm going to scrape a little bit across here. create a little bit more interest on there. So let me finish drying this. Okay, so that's dry. And I'm going to clean my palette on this side, because I'm going to be needing some of those colors, or I would just clean that off. I normally keep cool on one side, warmer on the other. But sometimes I need to do something a little different based on where I'm at in the painting. So I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna take a number 4 round brush, take a little cobalt blue and a little rose madder. I'm gonna mix a red violet and more of a violet. Then I'll take a little raw sienna, see, a little hands of yellow. It's a little, doesn't take much. I want to gray this violet down a little bit, the red violet and the violet. I'm going to take a little royal blue to that. So now what I want is just some kind of grayed violets, grayed red violets to touch on this mountain. A little more red. So I'm going to put a little of this red in here to pick up again, that kind of that pink tone in the sky. So it's more of a red violet. I'm gonna get just a little bit darker. On the edge here. And we got this one over here. A few touches of value in there. All right, so those are my mountain pops. And now, I'm going to clean this out again. So I'm going to add some cerulean blue and a little bit of that rose madder to the water. So there's that, a little rose madder, if I can find that. So I'm going to take a little of that rose madder. I'm just going to start to bring in a little of that red. Pick up some of the reflections from the mountains there. I'm going to bring in my cerulean blue, just using a wash brush. Bring that wash down. So now that cerulean blue wash has gotten the paper nice and wet, I'm going to go to my round brush, and now I'm going to start to drop in these colors. I'm going to increase my angle. I normally work at about a 20-degree angle, and I'm just going to increase that just a little bit. A little of that burnt orange, maybe. Some gold into this. Be careful here because I can get some backwashes if I'm not careful. Probably should have done that a little sooner up here. Sometimes what I like to do is take a spray bottle and just create a little stronger sense of reflections and vertical light, kind of pattern in that. Okay, so let me dry this, and then I'm going to come in and do some small kind of just touches with a brushwork. Okay, that's dry. I'm going to take a little of this kind of a red violet, and just in the kind of violet tones that I have, just try to indicate a little bit of an indication of that mountain. Just the one in the foreground, so that's probably enough for me. And I'm going to take a flat brush or angle brush here. It's a nylon brush, and just lift a little bit. Just cut a little bit out of here just to pick up the reflection. And let's see, I'm going to take this liner brush or rigger brush. I'm going to put in just a couple little kind of indication of little dried out trees here. And put one right here. Just a little bit of And take a little of this. Do that. Okay. And I think that's about all I'm going to do on this. So, you know, this is a simple little painting that, get that on there, right? That started with the sketch in my sketchbook, just an imaginary sketch and a little value study. And then just turn it into this by adding a little bit of color and kind of sticking to the plan that I had in my sketchbook. So I hope you enjoyed this, and maybe it gives you some ideas on where to start your next painting.